my fellow type 1s out there. This is Dr. Jody, and today I'm going to talk about a skill that we all need to be really good at. What is it? Well, be sure to watch to the end of this video to find out. Perhaps you're just finding me. If so, welcome. I am so glad. Or perhaps you've been following me since March when I started these Facebook Lives in the midst of our COVID world. I've had type 1 for 40 years. I have a virtual practice. I help type 1s all over the world. And my goal to come to Facebook Live is to be a source of light, inspiration, and education for all of us that have type 1, especially in these crazy COVID times. So, like I said, I've been helping type 1s for so many years, and I'm so glad that you found me because truly, all I want to do is help us do this better because it's kind of challenging and it's kind of crazy. And one of the things I just read recently that I'm going to read to you is all about reframing how we think about diabetes. Okay, the word control, right? The word control is used all the time. How are you controlling your blood sugar? How are you controlling your diabetes? And I want to thank Reva Greenberg, who has been a type 1 for over 50 years and a great blogger, for writing this piece. She is designing a process called the Flourishing approach to diabetes. And it goes like this. The Flourishing approach acknowledges that managing diabetes and blood sugar is very complex. It's not simple cause and effect. Count your carbs and you get the perfect dose, right? Do this and that will happen, as health professionals have been trained to think. This complexity comes from the many variables that affect blood sugar. Known and unknown, certain and unpredictable, interwoven and separate, obvious and hidden, in and outside of our body. There's so many variables. There are so many variables that we all need to manage every day. This means we cannot control our blood sugar. Instead, daily, often hourly, we must make sense of it and figure out what to do next, right? I point this out when I talk about how a disease requires complexity framework, a framework that allows us to really deal with all the complexity involved. It's not as simple as just count your carbs and dose. If that's all you're doing, you're probably on the way to burnout, which happens to so many of us with type 1. Because many doctors believe our salvation lies in controlling our blood sugar, something we cannot do, many people will see themselves as a failure, which I hear all the time. And my Dex is beeping at me right now. When I share this knowledge with others, we feel liberated, right? Our best effort is made not by trying to control blood sugar, but by gaining the skills to navigate it, okay? That is what we need to do with diabetes. We need to learn to navigate it. Knowing your insulin to carb ratio and all these precise numbers is a good place to have a foundation, but if we expect the precise numbers to work, we're gonna end up burnt out. So that is my message to you today. We've got to be really good at the diabetes dance. Okay, the diabetes dance is that it requires different moves every day, right? We all know you can eat the same thing today as you did yesterday and it'll be a little bit different, right? Because there's so many factors involved. Our hormones, our stress level, did we sleep well, all of that, right? Did we exercise? Were we sedentary? So I want to really inspire you to have compassion for yourself. This disease is not cause and effect. It's not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. We've got to learn how to be a little bit more flexible. We've got to learn how to make adjustments. You know, after your meal, you go a little high, you go on a walk. After your meal, you go a little high, you might need a little more insulin, right? Do you know how to dose for protein? Do you know how to dose for fat? Those are kind of tricky, but those are needed to be learned. So if you watch my videos, I give you little tips all the time. Today's tip is about understanding that diabetes is not controllable perfectly and that we get to have compassion for ourselves, right? So I ate a ton of carbs at lunch today, which I normally don't do. And for me, that's a little high. So I know that's normally a general good number for many people, but my goal is to stay below 120 most of the time. But I treated myself. I had a banana and I had like a 35 carb bar. And when I work with clients all over the world, my meal recommendation and food recommendation is that most of the time we eat whole food, low carb, but I also don't want you to feel like you're in a jail of having to eat low carb all the time. So I have insulin on board. I'll probably go for a little walk right now, and hopefully my number will be right back down to 90. That'd be great. So Have compassion for yourself. If you don't know how to be flexible with your diabetes, reach out to your healthcare team or check out my website. I have a lot of great resources and online courses. My website is drjodyn.com. And for any of you that are my regular followers, know I am 4 hours late today. I normally come on live at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, and I ended up in urgent care today. So I got stitches in my shin. So I'm a little late. So we're all human. We've got to be flexible. We can't expect perfection, and we can do it. We can do it. We've got to learn to be flexible and compassionate. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll be back on Wednesday, right around 1 o'clock Pacific. No, that's my time. 1 o'clock Hawaii. 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. Anne asked, how many carbs was your lunch? Well, banana, right? So it wasn't a very sweet banana. It was kind of small. So normally I think of a banana as 30 carbs, but it was probably more like 20 carbs. And then my bar, I don't know, I think I said it was like 36 or so. So I gave myself 2 for the bar and 2 for the banana. And so I could have 2 units. So I actually gave myself 4 units, which to me is a big shot. So I could potentially have enough insulin on board right now. And I just need to kick it into gear. So that's why I'll go for a walk and then hopefully I'll slide back in. Or maybe I underdosed. I don't know. But we'll find out in the next hour. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Check out my website, drjodynd.com. You can always just Google Dr. Jody Diabetes anywhere in the world and I come up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye for now.